Hello and welcome back to Fab Rugby. So this weekend is finals weekend in European Rugby's calendar, and after a turbulent year of ups and downs with tournament changes, it's just great to be able to say we've got to the finals. On Friday night, we see former European heavyweights Leicester Tigers chase their first European title since 2002 when they face Montpellier in the Challenge Cup final. With the chance of Tigers lifting silverware this weekend, I thought let's catch up with a guy who knows a thing or two about European success. So joining me today is two-time Heineken Cup winner and Leicester Tigers legend, Ben Kay. With everything you achieved in your career, whether it be with England, the Lions, how high up does success rank for you, European success is?
I can honestly say people always say what was your favourite game, and they expect you to say the World Cup final. 100% my favourite memory in my rugby career was the 2001 Heineken Cup final over in Paris against Stade Francais in their own backyard. And I'd only been at Leicester for 2 years. It's my second season, and the anxiety, because I knew how much it meant to everyone at the club, particularly some of the older members of the squad who'd been there before, not won the final, and probably thought this was their last chance, and that extra responsibility that gave. And I remember thinking I'll never be as nervous for a game again, and I never was. But that sheer unbridled joy of when the final whistle went, I could still remember standing in the tunnel ready to go out for the game. Boiling hot day, and there was a heat haze in the tunnel, so all you could see was a blur of red, white, and green on one side and red, white, and blue on the other, and then the noise as you ran out. So yeah, we're actually having a bit of a reunion this week. So we're going to meet in Darren Garforth's garden for a socially distanced pint.
That sounds very good. So looking ahead to this weekend, and with Friday being, so it's a big occasion for Leicester to kind of, after what have been a turbulent few years, what's been the key changes from where they were a few seasons ago to where they are now?
How long you got? That's quite a big question. Look, with the benefit of hindsight, I think one of the problems that Leicester had was the success of previous teams weighed a bit heavily, and as a result, the results are usually the last thing that goes in performance. And when you're still qualifying for Premiership playoffs or European quarters or semi-finals, it's very difficult to say, actually, no, this isn't working. It needs drastic change. And by the time you realise things need drastic change, it's almost a little bit too late. And then you have the history weighing very heavily on the people that are trying to change it. So I think there's a lot of things. I think where the corner seems to have started to be turned is, a lot of good work done by people that are no longer at the club. Jordan Murphy, Simon Cohen, Jan McGinnity have all had an impact on getting Steve Borthwick the shape that he could come in with and really affect things. And we all know the character that Steve Borthwick is. He's no nonsense, absolutely 100% detailed, but he's simplified everything. So he's gone hugely detailed on very simple things. And all he's trying to do is get an identity for Leicester, which they always had. Exeter have got an identity. We all know that they've pushed it on, but we all know the basis of their identity, where they sprung from. Saracens the same. We all know how their game evolved, but we know the starting point of it. And I think that's where Steve Borthwick is now, at that starting point, looking at getting back to a dominant set piece. Winning the penalty battles is obviously really important there. And then the kicking game and the ability to turn teams over with the kicking game, get your field position, but the ball back is hugely important. And then I think he's going to try and grow some of the attacking stuff once everyone is 100% on the same hymn sheet, playing in the same way, and they all know what each other's going to do all the time.
So on that topic of dominance, is that going to be an issue though against Montpellier this weekend? Because we saw how Bath were that's their kind of game plan, and they were rumbled a bit when they played them. Is there going to need to be a kind of slight change in tactics? What do you think?
Both finals are a clash of two teams that play the same game plan, and the Leicester one is about that sort of physical dominance. So I don't think there will be a drastic change. I think they will just try and do it better than Montpellier, and also, you know, the accuracy of the kicking, the accuracy of the back three. I think young Freddie Stewart has got a huge role this weekend, depending on who's fit and available for Montpellier. But if it's Pollard, we know his strength as a kicking 10. And you know, the whole back three have to not make mistakes, but equally, you know, you'd think that Boutier is going to be under a bit of pressure at the back as well. And it's those couple of moments in a game where someone spills a high ball, you get someone like, for Leicester, Jasper Wiese running onto it, he dents a hole, and suddenly the whole momentum of the game shifts. And that's the crux of it this weekend, I think.
This was from Matty Skilling. Says, are there any major weaknesses in the Montpellier side that Tigers can exploit?
Look, I'm going to be careful here, but you could imagine that Ellis Genge against House might be quite an interesting little battle, and you wouldn't be surprised if Leicester just had a little look at some of the discipline of Montpellier. There's a few fiery characters in there. There was a sending off last week, albeit not one of the guys that would have featured anyway, for a really cheap shot punch. So look, I think, yes, there are weaknesses, but as I said before, I think it's going to be a clash of similar styles. In which case, I think discipline's going to be all important. And yeah, I'd be interested if Ellis Genge was going to keep his mouth completely shut all game. I think he might be trying to wind a few of them up.
Well, thank you very much, Ben. Look forward to Leicester versus Montpellier on BT Sport 1 this weekend. It's going to be a cracker on Friday night, and hopefully you're on the right side, or your team is on the right side again.
Cheers. Thank you.